what I want to do is animate these lights. Spotlights like this are easy to build. I take one down here. They consist from a main black torso, then in front is a white circle and those 4 hatches. For the light beam, we go here into the interactive menu and take here the trigger field. And then adjust it to a suitable size so that it looks like a beam. Then we enter the edit menu. Here in enter function you leave none, but what is important is that you tick here visible. Then here you can adjust the color, so if you want the strong light you put everything to the very maximum. Make sure it's like only the color 1, because you can see here the color 2 doesn't really have a big effect. So we want 3 things: 1 light that is blinking, 1 that is moving around, and 1 that changes the color. For achieving any kind of animation we need to set up here the field ID. To end up our preparations, I just copy the light 3 times and also copy the beams here. So for the second one I make 3 beams on top of each other where I change the light. And each of the beam have different field ID. I will show you later why this is important. So here the second beam has a different color, so I changed it. You cannot see it very well now, so I put it up a little bit. Okay, you see it's very yellow. So you can adjust the color, maybe a little bit more orange. I copy 1 more, go to edit, make another field ID here, field ID 4, and change the color and do something like this, violet. And then I repeat the whole thing with a 3rd spotlight, and I just make 3 white beams that are looking into 3 different directions. And remember here, every beam in a different direction needs to have a different field ID. Now we go to the advanced editor and add an event. So we call it 2-second loop because we're building a loop that repeats every 2 seconds. 2-second loop. And then here as a trigger we take a timer, and here we choose 2, which means it will be triggered every 2 seconds. See here, timer 2. And as an action, now we first disable this field 1, so the light beam on the very left side will turn off, and then we go here to yield, add 1 that makes it waits 1 second, so it starts here on top, then you wait 1 second, and after that second you turn the light on again, so you go to action, enable field 1. So the logic is it turns off, it turns off here, then wait 1 second, it turns on again, and because it's a loop, after 2 seconds it repeats, so it's always going in circles. For the moving light we add a different event, we call them 3-second loop. We do the same thing again, we add here a timer, but this time the timer repeats or is triggered every 3 seconds, that's why 3-second loop. So what we do now is we enable the first light, which is the beam with the white color, that's the field ID 2. Then we wait 1 second by adding a yield of 1. Here. And then after 1 second we turn off the white light, so disable. Here, disable field 1, and instead we turn on the yellow-orange light, which is the field 3. So here we go to enable. The field 3 will be enabled, and then we wait again 1 second, so yield 1, and we repeat the whole thing by adding one more action. We disable the yellow light, which is the field 3 again, and we enable the pink light, which is the field ID 4, if I remember correctly. So now the problem is when it repeats, this violet light doesn't turn off. So we need to make another action, put it all on top, and the first thing what we do is we have to disable the field 4 so that it doesn't even start. So when it kind of repeats, the first thing what it does after 3 seconds is turn off the violet light. For this with the 3 different directions, it's exactly the same thing. So if you want to program this and add it, you can either do like another event, but it's more smart if you just take the same 3-second loop and just add it in between the other things. I don't do this now because it's exactly the same thing and it would be boring to see. So there's one more thing you need to do, is you need to make an event that is called triggered by the match setup, so that in the beginning of the game all the lights that you don't need are turned off, because by default they are turned on, all the fields are turned on. So you can either individually just choose every field that you need, like field 1, field 3, whatever it is, and then just do as many as you need. Another way is you just go -1 and then all the fields are disabled by default. Okay, now let's test it. So go to the room with the lights. Okay, it seems the blinking here is actually working. The colors, they change. Nice. And it also moves the angle, you see it? I hope this video helped you by making animated lights, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments.